Hello, I'm Becky,
And I'm Mickey.
and these are Inglorious reviews.
We're back this week with The Flash and the Arrow.
Yep. So let's talk The Flash first. Really good episode.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, a lot happened. Yeah.
Yeah, the Cupid was, I think we thought it was a joke before.
No, we were talking about The Flash.
The Flash? Oh.
Yeah, wait, did I say the Arrow?
Yes, you did.
Oh.
Pick
we
one,
usually
please.
start with The Flash.
Do we
start
really?
With the Flash.
Oh.
Yeah.
Unlike last week, we only had one. So which one is it?
Yeah, so The Flash.
Okay, The Flash.
Okay.
Well.
Good episode.
Yeah, overall.
A lot happened. Yeah.
A lot of backstory on some of the characters.
Yeah.
Barry and Harrison, for that matter.
Yeah, so this week had Barry facing off against his old childhood bully, Tony Woodward, and who could turn into metal.
He is now Girder.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ugh, Girder.
What? What better name would you give him?
Terrible name.
Well, hey, he was probably made in the 60s.
So was Colossus, who has the exact same powers and is a much better name. Marvel.
Well, he's Marvel. What do you expect?
Yeah, Marvel really does the naming better than DC does.
I think some
really
would disagree, though.
Meh.
Some of the older characters.
Meh. Yeah.
You know.
Girder, come on.
What?
Oh, well, you really expect a Cisco
You don't
to name someone like that Girder.
You don't like any of the names of the
no,
company. You don't like Captain Cold.
Yeah.
You don't like
those are all
Plastique. You don't like any of them.
Really, really lame.
You have to get past
really
that.
dumb names.
They were supposed to be lighthearted names. They're not supposed to be like Destruction Man. There's none of that. It's Girder. kind of like the old kind of like the old movies, you know. It's like The Blob. Now that sounds silly, but it was a great thing back then.
Yeah. So it was a good episode. Good. Yeah, it was interesting. We saw a little bit more of what's his face, Barry's backstory.
Mm-hmm. And is pushing his limits to his power.
Yeah,
though, which I've been really hoping for.
How to do a sonic boom. He's learning how to
channel his speed force.
Yeah.
Which I think is, and fighting skills, which is something he's been really lacking these last few episodes.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping it progresses where he becomes, he has the fighting skills, whether it's box, whatever, and he uses it to battle some of these other enemies. He's going to need it.
Yeah.
And the faster he goes, the better.
Yeah, we were thinking that Arrow was going to start teaching the Flash how to
we had that inclination, but
maybe still love him, but I really liked Eddie coming in and teaching him how to fight.
Yes, which is quite interesting.
Eddie's really becoming a character.
Which
he wasn't really much of a character, except for kind of a rival for Barry, for Iris, but now we got a little backstory on him, and we got to spend a little time with him. So now he's really becoming a character, and I really like it. I think it's interesting that, they made him into this kind of nice guy, and not just, the kind of jerk face.
The standoffish guy who's dating your best friend.
Yeah. So, yeah, that was nice to find out a little bit about Eddie. I thought it was interesting. He mentioned that he was the son of a politician, which I thought was interesting.
And he was a fat kid. He's a fat kid. Now he's all fit and liked for the most part.
Yeah. So, okay. So, also, big news. We met the Man in Yellow.
Yes, Reverse Flash, which complicates things in a way, because if you read the comics or if you read the DC Wiki, you see that Reverse Flash has about 3 incarnations. You have Hunter Zolomon, and you have Edward Thane are the 2 main ones. The other one is previously with Gary, what is his name? Jay Garrick or something, the first Flash. So you have one of the Reverse Flashes, who in the comics is Edward Thane, who is the same name as our detective, or assistant detective. But at the same time, you have Hunter Zolomon, who is Professor Zoomwich, who is Reverse Flash, who could easily be Harrison Wells because at the same time he was in a wheelchair. So we have this split of what the writers are going to do. Are they going to make Edward Thane Reverse Flash now? Or is it just coincidence that his name is the same? Because maybe he did find an inkling. Because, he's like, there's little things like the speed. Like, you gotta improve your speed. He's noticing the metahuman things. Maybe he's not giving it up that he has his powers, or he might not have his powers. But then you have Harrison Wells, who seems to know quite a lot about the Flash.
Yeah.
More than he should, and he seems to be obsessed with the Flash. And they seem to have the cosmic treadmill too. So we have this split of who are they going to choose. I'm hoping it's Harrison Wells just because it makes more sense right now, and he is becoming that knows too much, but you have to trust him in the moment.
Yeah, the thing about that is, though, he worked really hard this episode to make what's-his-face, Joe, think that the Yellow Man doesn't exist.
Yes, but he does.
But then at the end of the episode, we met him. So it would be counterproductive if Harrison was the Flash, the Reverse Flash, to go show up and threaten Iris and prove to Joe that the Man in Yellow exists.
But I guess he took away. If you notice at the end of that episode, though, he took away all the information that Joe had on Reverse Flash and that whole case. He took it all.
Yeah, but I feel like Harrison is just so 10 levels above everyone else with the information that he knows.
That's why I think he's Professor.
So
that's why he's Reverse Flash.
Yeah, so I don't think though that if he's that level above, just the police evidence stealing, he would even need that. I don't think he's. I think he's at a level where he wouldn't even need to steal that because he's so far, miles ahead of everyone else.
You think he's not even bothered? If, say, he is Reverse Flash, he's not even going to bother taking the precautions of, hey, Joe could figure this out, let's take everything away anyways?
No, because it would also be counterproductive. If Harrison wanted to get rid of the evidence, I don't think he would have done so by showing that the Man of Yellow exists because he worked so hard. Just having this conversation with Joe about whether the Man in Yellow exists or whatever, trying to convince him, and then at the end show him that he does.
So there's 3 possibilities here now. Edward Thaint, who is the assistant detective, is the Reverse Flash. Harrison Wells is the Reverse Flash. Or somebody from the Speed Force, which because there are multiple incarnations of the Flash and his villain and the Speed Force characters as a Reverse Flash is coming back in time to take the evidence. And that's what sounds like the 3 choices are. Because I could see Harrison Wells taking that information anyways. Because he's in a wheelchair. Does Joe really think, Harrison Wells gets up every day, runs around the block?
Yeah.
Don't think so.
Still, I think it's 2 different people.
So you think Reverse Flash is not Edward Thaint or Harrison Wells?
No, I think maybe Harrison has something to do with the murder. I don't think he was the Man in Yellow, though. Involved, maybe, but not the actual perpetrator.
I see. I don't know what to make of that.
Yeah.
We'll find out next couple episodes.
Yeah, it's such a tangled web.
Yeah, that's what happens.
Yeah. Oh, and at the end, Iris was threatened, so maybe Joe...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so he might not be so willing to get involved.
He's not too happy with that. I mean, Reverse Flash does try to kill Iris in the comics. So it's leading up pretty nicely here.
Yeah, I mean, Joe might still go on with it, but Barry might wind up telling him, keep Iris safe and stay out of it. Let me handle it from now on.
Yeah, I mean, in the comics, Barry Allen, he goes after Reverse Flash and actually pushes him back into the Speed Force.
Yeah.
So he puts him back in time, or Force speed time for that matter. So I don't know what's actually going to happen here.
Yeah. Should be interesting.
It will be.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, so this show still really does have an Iris problem. I mean, she's better. I mean, she's a much better, this episode. Iris was much more, enjoyable. She had a bit more of a purpose than she has had, these last few episodes. Because, I feel like she just hasn't been much of a character. I feel like... Okay, so Iris is a really sort of character that you'd have in a Smallville sort of show. Back in the 90s. That sort of character that's, doesn't know everything and is, always getting kidnapped or whatever.
Damsel in distress character.
The Lana character. That kind of character works in when shows, when shows went slower, like Smallville, they had the Freak of the Week, and the plots moved like really, really quickly. I mean, really, really slowly, rather. At a snail's pace sometimes, because shows used to do that.
Yeah.
But now these shows like Arrow and the Flash, they just go, 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 go. On with the have these big serialized arcs, and so I feel so it's just and Laurel had this problem too, where she was designed for a slower paced show. And so this, this journalist who's only, the only way she can really contribute is if she happens to get kidnapped by the bad guys, is the only way she can contribute to the plot, is, a problem.
I think if we're going to compare the two, Laura's actually catching up speed-wise.
Oh, yeah.
But Iris is still a bit lagging.
But it took forever, and so Laurel kept getting sidelined, and her character wasn't as compelling as, say, all these other, say, like Sarah or Huntress or Felicity, who were right in the thick of it, and it was really a detriment to Laurel's character.
Yeah.
And I think even Arrow people have admitted that they made a lot of mistakes.
Yeah,
with the way they wrote Laurel.
And whoever's directing is hopefully not making the same mistakes with Iris, which they seem to kind of a little bit.
Yeah. I don't know how, I don't think they should have made her a journalist.
Yeah, I don't know what they're going to do with Iris, though.
Yeah.
They can't really make her into a character. But she can't be, tossed out the window.
Yeah.
But are they going to kill her? Probably not.
I don't know. I was thinking about it. In the pilot, they mentioned, Iris mentioned that she had wanted to be a policewoman, but, submitted an application to the police academy, but Joe guilted her into withdrawing it, and she never did it, even though that's what she wanted to do with her life. So if they, had her decide to try again and become a policewoman, that would be a good way to draw her in the plot. Be a much better way to draw her into things.
Do you think she'll be partners with Eddie in doing police work then?
I don't know.
How would that work?
Yeah, they could bring her in. They could, Police Academy, I don't know how long that lasts.
Yeah.
But, yeah, bring her in and have her, work with Eddie, work with everyone. And that would be a much better way. It would give her much more reason to be around Barry, to be around these crime scenes.
To stick around,
and have her not be the damsel in distress.
I could transfer that to somebody else.
Yeah. I don't understand. Okay, do we still know what she is studying in school?
No, we haven't figured that out.
I thought in the beginning that she was studying a journalism. She was just in a
She was
journalism
taking a class. She was
not
taking a class.
A journalism student.
I don't know what she was studying at first. Yeah, she's that class, and now the blog has become like a side job or something.
And why? And is she in graduate school? Or
She's
in graduate
gotta be
school?
Because she's working at the coffee shop and doing the blog on, part time. So we don't know what she's actually doing.
She should be so much busier. She should be so much busier doing stuff.
She's procrastinating like the rest of us.
Yeah, but she doesn't even mention school, or where she's going, or what she's been studying, or why she's still in school when everyone she knows is already out in the workforce. I don't know if being a forensic chemist, being a forensic scientist, and you need a master's for that.
It's nice to have, but you can get a forensic chem job right out of college, right out of bachelor's. Something I almost did. But yeah, so I don't know what she's doing. She's kind of sitting there.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll find out later.
So that's another problem. We don't know a lot of what's going on with her.
Maybe she'll become a metahuman.
Yeah.
Which would kind of ruin things, I think.
I don't know. I'd draw the plot a bit better. Yeah, so, yeah, I hope they really need to figure out what they're going to do with that, because having her, she feels so much like a Lois Lane knockoff with a whole lot of Lana from Smallville in her plot, and I don't like that. Yeah, so I think that's about the Flash.
Yeah, then we covered the Flash.
Yeah.
I don't think we missed anything there.
Yeah,
Nothing new.
Oh, they teased Firestorm.
Yes.
Firestorm is still out there?
They also teased Grodd, too, so...
Yeah.
They'll probably come, next couple episodes? Because they also teased Heatwave, I think it was 2 episodes ago. So, there'll be more characters for sure.
Yeah.
And they all have lame names, according to you.
Yeah, they do. Firestorm isn't too bad.
Just a knockoff of, Johnny Storm. of the Fantastic Four.
Yeah, well, this metal guy was a knockoff of Colossus in a really bad way.
Could be their way around, but who knows?
Yeah. Well, it just seemed like really a knockoff of Colossus. Yeah, that's about it. Barry, Barry's. I liked the scene where they all stood around talking about their childhood bullies.
Yeah. We're all uber nerds now.
Yeah.
We've all established that.
I said, okay, and the AV Club mentioned this in their review. Okay, so Barry revealed who he was to Tony.
To Tony, yeah.
Yeah. So now there's someone out there outside of the team who has a reason to be angry with Barry
about who he is.
Yeah, about who who he is. So when the inevitable, escape from the what are they calling that little area?
I don't know.
The pipeline or something.
The pipeline, yeah.
Okay, so when all of the villains stuck in there are eventually escape, like he's gonna know who he is, and he's gonna be able to tell the other villains, "I know who the Flash is. Let's go get him and kill Iris to get back at him."
I mean, that's what Reverse Flash does. He knows who the Flash is. He knows it's Barry Allen, and that's how he can get to Iris. But I think it's going to happen. I mean, if it goes long enough, we're going to have Girder tell the Rogue Gallery, who is Captain Code, Heatwave, and all those guys, and they're going to go after him.
Yeah.
Whether it's in the future or not.
Not very well thought of.
Oh, well, that's what happens when you're an early superhero.
Yep. Yeah, so I guess that's about it, yeah.
Yeah.
Harrison continues to be shady.
But he's shady, but he's smart.
Yeah, I liked the scene with him and Detective West, though. I thought when I first, heard about the series, that Detective West and, and Harrison, that they were gonna, have a little fight about who would be Barry's father figure.
Oh, well, I didn't see it that way, but okay.
I thought maybe that would, become a thing.
I'm just glad to see Harrison Wells outside the lab.
Yeah, and talking to someone his own age.
His own age, and he's in a public area.
Yeah, that never happens. But I did like the little burgeoning friendship between the two. I like their interactions. They're both very good actors, and they really did sell the scene, and they had, some good chemistry together. So that was a really nice part of the episode. Alright, so on to the Arrow?
Yep.
Alright, woohoo.
Okay.
Oh my goodness.
The Arrow.
What an episode.
Oh, well, you want
to... It was the most cartoonish...
Well, okay, let's start with the villain, Cupid.
Okay.
I think we both thought Cupid was a joke, really.
Oh, yeah.
I
was laughing so much. And it's not really a funny episode, but she was such a cartoon.
But see, Cupid, we thought was a joke. Yeah. And it turned out, well, I read the DC Wiki before. It turns out she's an actual anti-hero villain who's infatuated with Oliver Queen because he saved her unintentionally. And really, I didn't think the TV episode was going to turn out this way, but they followed it to the point where they make her a psycho who's creeping on him all the time, trying to be like him, said, "Hey, I'm your lover, and I'm killing for you." If that doesn't scream red flags, I don't know what does.
Oh, yeah.
And that's not the start of the laughable part of this episode.
Is she like a Harley Quinn kind of character?
I wouldn't say Harley Quinn but you can equate her that way because she has that infatuation with regardless of what he does, kind of like Harley Quinn does with the Joker. Always trying to get with him. But she does have her own. I think she just really wants to be with the Arrow because she thinks they're one and the same.
Yeah. Well, he's a celebrity now, and every celebrity has their little stalker people.
Yeah, get rid of them. They're a liability.
Oh my goodness, yeah, but she was such a cartoon. Like, it's not supposed to be necessarily a funny episode, but I was just laughing because it was the most over-the-top thing. And, Arrow does embrace some of the, crazier parts of the DC universe, but this really took the tape.
I don't know so much crazy, but the sillier parts.
Yeah.
Because it started, I don't get started, but we also had that silly moment with the punching glove Arrow, which somebody posted rather online later of the animated version of that same scene. So it was really funny. It compared those two. And the fact that they made it basically exactly that Cupid is that person. I mean, there's no other way to portray that character other than cartoony like that.
Yeah. So it was weird. It was like, I think the point of the episode, like, they wanted to advance the character parts more, and so to really give those areas focus, they can have this huge plot thing, like, distracting us. Because, when the huge plot things are going down, it's just go, 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 go.
We miss details.
And, yeah, so they slowed it down to give more emphasis to the Ray Palmer, Felicity, and Oliver triangle.
Relationship,
and Thea and this new DJ. Did we even get his name?
No, we didn't. He just is kind of forward.
I would not hire that guy. Like, if someone came into my business and told me what to do, especially, okay, what really drove me nuts with Thea being so okay with this guy, it's like, she's supposed to be all empowered now, and, like, be able to fight, and not take people's crap, and here's this guy just, like, dares to walk in and tell everyone else who's, like, auditioning for her job to go home, and that he's gonna be the guy she picks no matter what, which really drove me nuts.
Maybe it appeals to her.
Yeah.
That type of person.
And okay, like the best guy she could, So what really drove me nuts though? Okay, so this DJ that she hired, like, wasn't very good, and like she fired him like right there on the spot. Mm-hmm. Like, okay, did everyone else actually go home when that guy told her to? Because did you notice everyone walking out?
Everybody walked out, yeah.
Like, what the heck? He's not the one who decides who gets hired. She is. Why are you listening to him?
I don't know. People were like,
that
hey,
was weird.
Maybe they know who he is, though. Maybe the other people knew him and said, hey, he's one of the top DJs in the area.
Yeah, but then she stood up right behind him and said, like, no, everyone stay where you are. This is not over. And she seemed mad at him. So, like, why would everyone just walk out because he told him to?
Yeah, people are weird like that. I don't know.
Yeah, bad writing.
But he did save the club dancing.
Yeah.
Which was...
But I don't know. If I were her, I'd be like... no, I'm just going to use Spotify. And, like, get on some I'm just going to use my Spotify playlist.
Well, that's what she did, yeah.
Well, no, but he like, talked to her into giving her the job, and he took over.
Yeah, he just said, hey, make them dance.
Yeah.
Can't have a club without people dancing.
I don't know. That really annoyed me that she just kind of, walked in there and took control of the situation from her. Especially because she's just, this whole thing was supposed to be about her empowerment, and that just drove me really nuts. You didn't even get his name.
No, we didn't. We'll find out later. He'll become a bad guy. Yeah,
and that he just, like, kissed her and walked away, and she was just, like, starstruck or something. Like, no! He's like a, 20-something douchebag. Like, yeah, you can do better than this guy. So that drove me nuts. I was kind of surprised that they didn't show Roy seeing that kiss.
Yeah, I was expecting him to be, like, behind the mirror or between the doorway, looking at us like, whoa, crap, and then confront him in the alleyway or something. Didn't happen.
Yeah, well, maybe because maybe they were going to have that, but then with Oliver seeing Ray kiss Felicity, they didn't want to do it too much.
Yeah, that makes sense, though.
Yeah. Okay, so, yeah, this whole thing with Felicity and Ray getting together. What do you think?
I'm not too concerned about it. I mean, I'm fine with it. I'm more entertained about the idea that Ray Palmer, who is the Atom, we actually see the armor being made. Mm-hmm. And that's what I'm more interested in. I could care less about her, his relationship with Felicity, for the fact that, if they make the Atom an actual character in this series, whether he's small or... I don't think they'll split him off, but that he's, like, in and out of things, which would be really cool.
Yeah.
But it causes problems for people, though.
Yeah. I think they might... Yeah, we saw the Atom suit tonight. Yes. He saw him trying to make the Atom suit. And so, the thing is, like, I do like the character, and I like the idea of Oliver getting a little competition. The thing is, like, there's so many heroes in the show already. There's so many heroes that they're always, like, rotating them in and out of the, We
got two, don't we?
Yeah, well, no, we have Oliver, we have Roy,
okay.
We have, we had Sarah. Laurel is coming up, and
Black Canary, yes.
Yeah, and Nisa, shows up, and then, John, too. there's so many of these, superheroes that they're like constantly having to rotate them in and out. And I just feel like, why are they adding another? I kind of wonder if maybe they won't have him become a villain.
I wonder. I don't think Ray Palmer's gonna be a villain. I think somebody may steal his suit.
Mm.
I think that's a much better way to go about it.
Maybe he'll try to do good and then get like overtaken by the power, become an anti-hero or something, go
He
dark.
could. I mean, the Atom kind of he's able to shrink down really small. That's about it.
But then someone could swash you.
No, but you keep the power, the strength that you have, regardless of your size. Kind of like Ant-Man in Marvel comics.
Still, like one big-footed person with a big nice pair of boots could just like wham.
You think he's like an ant? No, the Atom Man can be like really, really small, like into an atom. So you can't really crush him with a boot. He gets really tiny. So he's like microscopic. He does great things. But let's just, I don't know. I think somebody's going to steal his suit. I don't see him being a bad guy.
Yeah.
I think somebody steals his suit and just wreaks havoc.
Yeah, we'll see. It's interesting with Felicity's, him and Felicity's relationship. I'm okay with it. I really do like Felicity and Oliver together. I'm an Felicity shipper, I guess. But the thing is, within 2 seasons, Oliver racked up like 4 girlfriends.
Quasi-girlfriends?
Yeah. He
Not real girlfriends.
he had all these different relationships or whatever, and, all these things, while Felicity kind of sat away and pined. And so I'm kind of liking to see a little reversal happen with that, because Oliver, made his choice, and I don't think it's right that Felicity should just, have to wait around for Oliver to decide that he wants her after all.
Yeah, I think she noticed that, though. She's like, hey, I've been waiting this whole time. I'm going to make something else happen, regardless of what Oliver thinks.
Yeah, I agree. So, yeah, that was cool to see them going out. Okay, the thing that drove me nuts about it, though, and about, Thea, too, like, this guy, Ray, he's been flirting with her and, doing all these things for her and really, courting her, clearly trying to get her attention, clearly, showing up at her house or whatever and, meeting her mother and all that stuff. And, doing things that, really crossing professional lines, showing clear interest in her as, a person more than just an employee, and then asking her to dinner and doing all this. You don't ask, your employer, even just a friend, to do go on that date and get that dress and, that expensive diamonds. He's clearly trying to impress her. And so when she finally, agrees, is and kind of agrees to, try something, and he kisses her. And then he's just like, oh, I didn't mean for tonight to get the platonic, and then just walks away. That is some bull. That is, okay. Well, if I were...
I'll agree with you there, is that he should have, because as soon as he said, I didn't want this platonic, it's like, why did you even bother saying that?
You absolutely did.
You
absolutely
set everything up.
And then you visited her in her office, and then kissed her. And so clearly, it's
it's not like she pulled away or anything either.
I would not, I wouldn't stand for that. I'd be like, no, don't pretend that this wasn't anything other than it was. Don't try to play mind games with me. Because it just seems, really manipulative. That he's trying to, put her in a vulnerable position so she'll, be more malleable to whatever,
he's trying to do.
Whatever he wants from her, whatever desires. That's, a grade A manipulative, if I were... if she were my friend, I'd be like, this. Well, no, really. If this were my guy, I'd be like, he's clearly trying to manipulate me in some way. I would not date someone who played those sort of games, because that's really what he's doing, is playing a game, which makes me not trust the character. That's a kind of a tip off that he's not trustworthy, because
he's trying to get at something.
That's one of the tricks guys use to, try to manipulate girls into more vulnerable positions, so they'll do it, what they want.
You know all the secrets, don't you?
No.
But, yeah, I don't think Ray Palmer should have done that.
It's like gaslighting. That's kind of like gaslighting in a way. showing interest, pulling away, and then doing all this stuff and crossing, lines, and then being like, oh, I didn't want that. That's
odd. To say
that's
the
like,
least.
and then now she feels bad and she feels awkward, like she was reading more into it than she was.
No, she's in a weird position. Yeah.
Now she's in a weird position. She's in a vulnerable position when he was the one who instigated everything that happened that night.
Yeah. Well, she doesn't know how he actually feels about her now.
Well, clearly he does feel something for her, because you don't, do all these things for someone you don't have interest in. And then he kissed her. And so clearly he does, but he, is trying to confuse her. Which is...
To what ends, we don't know.
Well, and yeah, it's manipulation.
For what?
I don't know. I don't know.
Find out who the arrow is?
Make her want to, chase him then, so he could be the one being wooed, so he could be the one in the power position? Or, I don't know.
I don't know how those things work.
Yeah. So very sketchy behavior. If I were Felicity, I would not put up with that sort of thing. I'd have been like, excuse me, no, that's exactly what you were trying to do tonight. I would not let him walk out of that office like that.
You have to get a clear statement.
Oh yeah. So that, really bothered me. Yeah, and the same thing with that guy, ugh. I hate those, like, douchey guys, like that blonde kid, who, just kissing Thea and acting like, he's just the coolest thing ever.
Yeah.
The thing that bothers me, though, is that it's such, like, his behavior was just such a stupid, like, varsity jacket, frat boy kind of attitude.
In the body of, like, somebody who's a dropout.
Yeah. Like, your hair is like long and uncut, and not in like a messy
nice
way, but
yeah.
just like in an unkempt, dirty way. And so it's just, and that's sort of the behavior. The thing is, it's like the behavior of like someone who's like really young and really full of themselves, and like if this were like season 1 Thea going after a guy like this, that would make sense. But Thea has been involved in things that are like so like much about the levels of things that Thea's been involved with, like that's all the different things going on with the Arrow and things going on in the city, and her months with Malcolm. Like she's so beyond being into that. She should not. She just should not have been charmed by that sort of attitude, that sort of behavior. Not at this point.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe she's just looking for something on the side. Since she's got the business going, Roy's out of the picture, dating-wise for her. She's like, I'm making money. We'll see what happens.
I'll want you for your, I'll want you for your body and nothing else.
That's unfortunate.
Nah, I don't know.
Yeah.
He's not even that good looking.
Thea just wants him for his money. The money he can provide. The club.
He's scrawny and unkempt. So that really annoyed me. Not a very impressive character. I guess I misread something. I thought the guy that they had playing Firestorm was going to be this DJ guy. Maybe I misread that.
What?
Yeah, I remember.
Well, that would be interesting.
I remember reading that this guy was cast, and then I remember reading that they cast some like DJ character to be a love interest for Thea, and I guess I got them confused, and I thought that he was going to be Firestorm.
That's a real crossover thing there.
Oh,
we
yeah.
would. Because, I mean, we see...
That'd be cool.
We see the major crossover thing is going to happen in the next few episodes. So they could easily bring in something like that.
Firestorm would be
Firestorm.
That guy would be a good love interest for Thea rather than, scrawny, obnoxious DJ boy. Yeah.
Talking about weak, type characters.
Roy.
How about Roy, huh? He fails again.
Oh, Roy!
He fails again.
Sucks. Roy just really sucks.
He got knocked out. He got knocked out by Cupid.
So useless.
You think like he has fighting skills. You think he'd be like, hey, look, it's Cupid. I just dodged one arrow. Let's go attack her.
Mm-hmm.
Wait till Oliver shows up.
Yeah.
Nope. He just ends up on the ground.
If he's so good at fighting, like, okay, so that scene where where Oliver, like, uses his arrow to, like, knock her bow out of her hands. Like, why didn't Roy do that?
He's not that good of a shot.
Ugh.
He's distracted.
Ugh. And I mean, I guess it was part of the plot of the story that he was, like, off his game or whatever. But he's off his game every week. Every week in, like, every fight. He's getting knocked out. He gets knocked out by Nisa.
Which is understandable, as we
like,
mentioned.
the last week that the only time he's ever won a fight this season, I think, was when he was, going off against Isaac Standler. And that was because it was, like, had, like, narrative importance for him to do it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he's just useless.
We didn't even see the fight for that one.
Yes,
for Cupid,
no, we
which
didn't. He just
kind of annoyed me.
She just saw him, like, she was holding an arrow at him, and then we saw him back, and he was completely knocked out.
He was knocked out. It's like, what did she do to him? Just go up to him and be like, huh, blackjack on the back of the head. You're out.
Oh, man, she completely...
I mean, that's what I see him doing. Like, she went up to him and said, you know what? Where is the arrow? And just knocked him out with a blackjack. And he was out.
Yeah.
Or just had some chloroform and said, hey, how's it going?
Yeah, I mean, maybe I could see him, like, maybe hurting her maybe hurting him a little bit, maybe, like, getting, like, in the arm or whatever, with, like, an arrow.
I was thinking,
or just,
yeah.
Or, get them having a fight and maybe him coming a little bit off because he's, like, reluctant to hurt, going up against a woman. But, like, she straight up had him knocked out. He was lying flat on the ground.
It's like they kind of like, hey, you know what? Just lay there and nothing will happen to you.
So
I don't think she even knocked him out. I think she said to her, like, you know what? I'm looking for the arrow, not you. Just lay there. I won't hurt you at all. And Oliver will come by. And you know what?
I could see that.
And you know what happened? If you noticed, Oliver, after shooting the guy down and knocking him out, the boss guy, he walks away. He doesn't pick up Roy. Roy's still laying there as he walks away. It's like, you know what? He probably saw Roy laying there. It's like, you are useless. See ya. I'm off.
I disown you.
I disown you because you can't fight a woman
He's so
who's trying to shoot you with arrows.
He's so bad. Like, how could that have, like, happened? And then, like, and then he was, like, conscious in the next scene as they've just gotten back from the fight. So I have no idea what happened.
Adrenaline shot.
Mm.
Who knows?
I don't know. Like, he was apparently knocked out hard enough to be knocked out for that scene, but not hard enough that he wasn't, already up and, like, walking fine in the next scene. Like, a few, like, 20 minutes later.
That's what I'm saying. He wasn't knocked out at all.
He was playing dead.
He was playing dead because she told him to. It's like, I won't put an arrow through you if you just lay there nice and quiet.
Oh my goodness.
Don't make a move.
They have no idea what they're doing with Roy. They really don't.
Roy's kind of, again, just sitting there in limbo.
Yeah. What are they doing with this DJ character?
I don't know.
What is the point of a character like that at this point?
Maybe it's just like entertainment.
Nah.
Because I don't know if they want to put in another villain or anything. I don't think they need to.
Mm-hmm.
Because Arrow's got enough going on.
Maybe Malcolm is paying this DJ off to romance Thea, to keep her busy, to keep an eye on her so she doesn't, like, go running to Roy. Because Malcolm knows that Roy is the Red Arrow.
That could be it. There could be some
and that's
tie
why
there.
he was, like, so, like, confident about, like, getting the job, was because Malcolm had made sure, told him to make sure that he got the job.
Do this and you'll get the job.
That would make more sense. Yeah. So, yeah, I think that's about it. Roy and Felicity, they're...
Ray and Felicity.
Yeah, Ray and Felicity, they're, whatever now. They're
Whatever.
still up in the air.
Yep.
Because Ray's I think a jerk.
He's a jerk.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, one thing I noticed. None of the guys who are heroes or in types of power truly show a way to show emotion.
Mm-hmm.
Oliver can't do it. He has a hard time doing it. Ray Palmer has a very hard time doing it. He's awkward about it.
Yeah.
Who else is there? Roy has a very, very hard time showing emotion.
Mm-hmm.
John, a little more because he has a family.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's on
John.
purpose.
Oh yeah, John. And they've said in interviews, like, John's, like, the most emotionally healthy person in the group.
Yeah.
Because he's figured out how to balance his work life, his life with Lila. He doesn't have any secrets from his wife. He has a daughter. And, he's very, like, content. He's finally figured out the balance, and no one else on the show has found balance.
And found
except
that
for
when
Dickel.
we're watching all the characters, we're like...
He's
well.
like, that's why he's the one who gives advice.
Yeah.
That's his, like, character. He's the advice giver because he's the most stable person in the group.
Everybody else is gonna crack eventually. Put everybody in danger.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, none of them have. It's interesting. I mean, this is. I mean, everyone on the show, like, you don't, like, well-adjusted people generally don't, get into that line of work. They're doing it because they've got something, they've got issues that they're trying to work through. All of them, like, the opposite of that is on The Flash, where everyone is very emotionally healthy.
Balanced. Yeah.
Everyone has very healthy relationships, very emotionally healthy lives.
Everybody can communicate through emotions pretty easily.
Yeah, it's interesting because, well, like the Arrow said, like, in the pilot or whatever, when they met up, he was like, you could have, Arrow was like, you can inspire people the way I never could, because he started out in such a bad place, where everything started at such a bad place, and they're like kind of crawling and climbing to like a better place, whereas in Flash,
he starts from that good place.
Yeah.
Which I think is one of the good things Flash did.
Yeah.
And I think that might, I don't know if it'll be a point of contention in the next couple episodes where we see that versus Flash versus Arrow. Whether that emotional part will be a contention of how they view who's going to win what. Because it seems like they're fighting over territory in that promo. Or fighting over something.
Yeah. Maybe they'll go after the same villain and be like, I can do this better than you, I can do this better.
I got it, I got to him first.
Yeah, but it seemed like, okay, in that promo, Arrow was like, you're not, like, thinking straight. So maybe something is going to affect the Flash's mind.
That could be interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder if they'll bring Reverse Flash even more into it.
Mm-hmm.
Making Reverse Flash do these things, and then people blame it on Flash because they don't know who Reverse Flash is.
Yeah.
I think that's a stretch, but I don't see what the contention is between Oliver Queen and Barry Allen. Mm-hmm. Is it Felicity?
Maybe.
Then Ray Palmer comes in with the Atom.
Yeah.
And he gets away with it.
Yeah.
Well, there we go. The three-way triangle, and Felicity's in the middle. And we bring in everybody.
Yeah, well, Felicity has chemistry with, like...
all of them.
All of them. An actress has chemistry with, like, everyone. Like, she has chemistry with a paper bag. Really. She's, like, one of the best actresses, like, on the show.
If she ever leaves either show, she's off to big things.
Yeah, and the show is in trouble.
Yeah, if she ever leaves.
Yeah. I love that line this morning when, like, Ray Palmer was, like, doing the Salmon Ladder, and she's like, oh my gosh, I have a type. That was, like, the best line in the episode. I think that's about it. I think so. Oliver getting all upset. I liked the end where they all went and had dinner at Lila and John's, which is nice. Yeah, that's nice. Roy is useless.
Still useless, yes.
He doesn't do anything except
ever
hang
since
out,
he lost
angst, and lose fights.
He's been doing nothing.
He has no purpose.
He's just kind of hanging out.
Yeah. Maybe they'll kill him this season.
By who?
I don't know.
Maybe Cupid will kill him.
I don't know. But he's like the sixth lead or whatever on a show with much more compelling characters. And I said this, and I thought maybe if they had him be Sarah's killer, but I turned out to be wrong. He's not Sarah's killer. That would be a way to bring him in. So now I'm kind of back to my original thing that they just aren't interested in writing to him.
Maybe they'll drop him off and have him lead him off to doing something else.
Yeah. Maybe they'll kill him off and Holden Haynes will go back to Teen Wolf. That'd be fun.
Well, that'd be an interesting twist. I mean, I don't know if they might have him go off to do something. Because he said, he was talking about, I gotta get out of here. He doesn't feel like doing anything. So he may just take a break from the whole superhero thing.
Yeah.
And we'll see him back maybe a couple episodes, half a season later, as a different character.
Yeah. Become the Arsenal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe go dark. Maybe run off to Bloodhaven and get a dark edge to him or whatever. Mm-hmm. He went to Bloodhaven once.
So he might know Mr. Nightwing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Went into a shelter or something. Yeah. So.
Nightwing and Arsenal. Then they pair up eventually. Sometime
cool.
later.
I hope they bring in Nightwing. We were talking earlier so about how they're bringing in elements from the Gotham universe into the DC. You know, like
Well,
Bloodhaven.
I guess it's
And
the same universe, it's just different areas of the country.
yeah,
So
yeah, like the Suicide Squad is a Batman territory, and Bloodhaven, and okay, and Nightwing. Okay, so Nightwing, for those of you who don't know, is when Robin, the first Robin, Dick Grayson, when he grows up, he goes through a bit of a rebellious stage and leaves Batman behind and goes to strike himself on his own and renames himself Nightwing to separate himself from his time as Robin.
yeah.
And he runs off and goes to Bloodhaven, which is this this awful, rundown, really poor, really mob and crime-ridden town in the DC universe. And while he's there, during that time, he trains Huntress. After the Huntress becomes one of the good guys. So, and since they have the Huntress on the show, we were thinking maybe they would bring in Nightwing at some point.
They could have that link already established.
And that would be really cool. I always really liked Nightwing's character. I always really liked Robin and the Teen Titans.
The Teen Titans was fun to watch.
Oh yeah, I love the cartoon, and I read some of the comics when I got a little bit older. And I really, really enjoyed the stories. Lots of great characters, lots of great relationships in it. Would make a great adaptation to live action.
I mean, they have some like that, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know if Titans is a live action or if it's animated because I haven't seen any of it.
I've never heard of that.
I think it's very recent. It's probably this year or last year, if not just next year, and that should bring in Nightwing.
Yeah.
So I mean, they could easily, since they're doing crossovers with Flash and Arrow in the DC universe, I don't see why they couldn't do a Titans Arrow, Titans Flash, crossover, even if it's just 1 or 2 episodes.
Yeah. Well, I always thought Teen Titans should have been should be made like into a movie or live action movie or TV show or something.
I'm sure we could find something like that.
Oh, I wish, yeah, a fan film or
This
whatever.
is a fan film where somebody made one like in the 80s, which would be very silly.
Yeah. Yeah, honestly, CW should just like drop everything else and just make a bunch of live action
The DC
films
universe,
of comics. I'd watch all of it.
I think they do a pretty good job from what I've seen.
Oh yeah.
The Flash and the Arrow. They have the Gotham series, which is Batman.
Yeah.
So they could easily tie into that whole thing.
Make a Teen Titans show. Make a Wonder Woman show. Make
a
Birds of Prey. Remember that Birds of Prey show back in the 90s?
Yeah.
That was cool. Make a Barbara and Gordon show with, Dick Grayson or whatever, and, Canary and Oracle or whatever else.
They could do that whole thing.
Do it.
It's
That'd be so cool.
It's establishing that backstory, though, for a lot of those characters. Because they get overshadowed by characters like Batman and the Arrow.
Oh, yeah.
So you'd almost have to introduce them in the main storylines and then break them off to their own shows.
Mm-hmm. Hey, that's what they did with the Marvel movies.
Yeah, which is great. And see how well they did that with that.
Oh, yeah. So much money. So, yeah, good episode.
Yep.
The main plot was so really kind of dumb. And
Dumb
cartoonish.
for Arrow, but good for Flash.
But yeah, still a really. But it's funny now that Arrow has reached such a quality now that such a dumb idea can still be said. It can still make such a good episode, because I remember thinking the Huntress was really, really stupid in season 1 and not enjoying it very much. I mean, outside of the fact that I thought that she'd be a perfect serial killer or love interest for Oliver. And it really oh my gosh.
Well, that's what Cupid is, so you get your wish.
I know. It's really shows how far the show's come, that the Huntress would have been was a perfect match for Oliver, because they were both these crazy serial killer, revenge-ridden serial killers. And then, and I was like, oh man, I ship this. They'd make sense together. To be, to someone like that being the villain, you could never see Oliver, and never take seriously the idea of this girl and Oliver being together. Back at, nowadays. So it really shows how far the characters and how far the show has come in their stories. Yeah. Good episode.
Yep.
Yeah. Next week,
Next week is going to be really quite interesting.
Next week there's a Flash. I don't think there's an Arrow.
Really?
Well, they didn't talk about it at all.
Yeah, we'll have to double check that one.
Yeah.
But I think there's a Flash.
Yeah, there is a Flash for next week, the power outage episode.
I think there was a Flash.
Yeah.
Or the Arrow.
But after the end of the episode, they were like, oh, they're just gonna, December 2nd, there's this crossover.
So they're gonna skip a week?
They might. Well, it's Wednesday. Well, next Wednesday is the night before Thanksgiving, so they might be.
So?
I don't know.
I'll watch the Arrow on Thanksgiving for the night before. Got nothing else better to do. Neither do you.
Yeah, if you're watching this, you don't have a lot going on.
Yeah, you wasted it. No, you didn't waste an hour. You enjoyed your hour.
Yeah.
And a half.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess that's about it.
Yep.
Yeah, we will see you next week.
See you next week.
All right. Good night.